Alright guys, welcome back here. So first off here, I'm going to do a little tidy up here. I'm going to close up a bunch of these tabs here. This way they're not distracting me here. And keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fantastic. Okay. I want to make a new file, but this time I'm going to call this, let's call it test.txt here. So this isn't going to be a Python file here. This is going to be a normal, straight up run-of-the-mill text file, okay? And what we're going to do in this video here is we're actually going to use Python to read through this file from here. And this might be useful if you download something off the internet here, or maybe you store results inside a text file here, or maybe you have some type of reference information that you want to use in your program. Being able to read through files here is one of the benefits of Python, right? We talked about how people use it for automation, people use it for daily tasks here. This might be another thing that you want to run into, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to type in some sample text here. Let's say this is some sample text. It is, I often make mistakes while typing because there is a microphone in my way. But I love making these videos. They are a bunch of fun to make. I don't know. We'll do 2 more here. I have a cat and a dog. They are awesome. Oops. They are awesome animals. And you can type anything you want, okay? I'm going to save this here. Again, the white dot means it's not saved here. And we can leave that open. Why not, okay? Let's go ahead and make a new file here. We're going to call this reading files.py. Excuse me. All right, first up here. So basically what we want to do is we're going to use a function called open, and we're going to store this file right here basically inside of a variable here. So let's call this file, and we're going to set this equal to open. Now we need to give the name of the file here. We're going to say text.txt followed by comma, and we're going to put an R right here, and the R stands for read. Now in later videos we're going to discuss this R a little more here. There's a write mode. Right now we're just reading through the file here, okay? And let's just type in print, and we're going to type in the file .read. So we're calling a function called read. Again, this is built into Python, so we don't need to design this function here, but we're reading through this file from here, okay? Let's go ahead and save this here, and we'll type in Python reading files, tab, enter here, and we can see no such file, text.txt. What do I call it? Test.txt. Aha. And run it back here. So now we can see we're able to read through this file here and print it out to the terminal. And of course, we don't have to just print it to the terminal here. We can modify it. We can build some type of ad lib program where the user, could type in random words here. It could build it into a program. We could build a text-based adventure based on if the user has enough points or scores or coins, they can buy the sword. We can tell them back to it, stuff like that, okay? Now, what we can also do is we use this file to read through here. We use this function here, but we just print it to the console here. We could also store all the information from this file here into a variable. I'm going to say lines equals file.read. So now we have this lines variable that we can work with too, okay? And if we print this type out here, we can say type lines. I save this here, and I run it back here, we can see that this is of type string here. So basically it took all this information and print it into one string here. Now check this out here. This is kind of important to understand here. What I want to do is I'm going to say print, I'm going to say type, and I'm going to say file. And I'm going to run the program back here. We can see that this is an IO text wrapper here. So this is a little different than actual string here. IO stands for input output streams. So basically it's a little different than a string here. So if you want to work with this with some basic information, we first need to convert it to basically a string here. So I'm going to say lines equals, I'm going to say file.read, and then parentheses just like that here. Now if I say print and I type in type and I put in lines right there, I can start to work with this a little more here because now it is of type string here, okay? So the read reads through the file and it turns it into a string here, whereas the file itself here is an input-output thing, okay? Now, the other thing you see a lot in Python here is that people open the file here, that you also want to close the file, all right? That's just kind of common practice from here. So now that we open file, we're going to say file.close. All right. Now, this is what you see a lot of times here in basic tutorials here. In practice, this doesn't always happen. You usually see people do it a different way that I'm going to show you guys in a second here. And that's because if this file doesn't exist or something goes wrong here, this is going to run into an error from there. Okay. So instead of opening the file and then printing out here, I'm going to do the whole thing with a certain type of loop here. So I'm going to say with open test.txt as file. So we're opening up this thing here, and we're keeping it as file. And everything within this block of code here is going to be done with that open, okay? So I can do something like print, and I can say type file, just like we did before here. We can, whoops, type file, there we go. We can convert it to lines, so we can say lines equals file.read, and we could say something like print lines out. And then this way here, everything that we're working with this file for here is only with this function from there. The moment that I pop out of this function here, I'm no longer working with that file. So I could have, like, I don't have to worry about closing up the file here. So this is more or less the way that you see most people do it in practice in the real world, okay? So I'm going to run back this file here, and we can see it now. We have the exact same result here, but now it's within this loop from there, okay? And then later on, I think in 2 videos here, we're going to work on some try exception type deals, okay? So handling some errors, all right? But other than that, guys, this is how you guys would open a file in Python. So great job for you guys. You guys did fantastic, and I will see you guys in the next one.